Hello and good morning. I just got out of the shower. Yay, I'm smelling like a daisy. So that's good if this was smell-o-vision. But welcome to this week's live stream. I'm kind of switching gears for September because there's a lot going on personally and out in the cosmos. And so Spirit and I had a little powwow yesterday. And so we're just going to go with the flow. So instead of doing messy buns this month as the live stream, I will be doing weekly energy readings. So you'll see those two when you come to the channel. If you're watching in a replay, you'll see both of those in the playlist as both playlist videos and a podcast. I don't know how the podcast on YouTube works, but it's a podcast too. So if you know how that works, you can use that. So the reason I'm doing it is because I feel like all these retrogrades have everybody kind of feeling floaty and irritated and lots of things. So I thought it would be kind of best instead of trying to keep on teaching lessons of this, that, and the other sort, or like little mini lesson capsules or whatever, that we're just going to kind of get back to basics in the woo realm and kind of just do what I do best with is kind of readings for the collective, reading for you. If just so you're aware, these things that we're going to do in the live streams is September. Thank you, Mercury retrograde, because like talking is hard. Words are hard. That I feel like this will be more appropriate for what people need right now. And that's my goal, is to kind of show up and serve. And so when you come to the channel, you'll still see the messy buns there. So if you ever want to watch any of them, there's like a bunch of them about manifesting and different like ways to manage your woundness. And this is just going to be the weekly energy report for right now. So here's the deal. This energy report is for the collective. If you would like a personal, just for you kind of reading, there's a link in the description below. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, I think it's up here. But anyways, if you need that, right now, if you are watching this in September of 2023, I think I have 3 or 4 appointments left. And so I've put those on sale because it's my birthday month and they're $25 off their regular price. So if you want a special reading with me just for you, you can grab that link, use the coupon code Virgo23 and book your session. So that said, I'm Soul Coach Michelle, your co-creative life coach and friendly neighborhood superwoo, and we're going to do the weekly energy reading for this week, which is September 5th through, let's see, September 5th through boobity boobity boo, the 11th, because I do mine on Tuesday, so we're going to do that. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to really kind of quickly run through the cosmic energies because they're a little cray. So that could be why, I even saw a message this morning from somebody that was like, these retrogrades are driving me batty. Please, what is going on? Okay. So here's the rundown. I'll give you like the what's going on and then the messages that I have received, and then we'll pull a 3-card setup for the collective. Okay. That's kind of how we're going to roll. So just FYI, Venus went direct, I want to say yesterday. And so Venus is values. And people like to say it's money, love, beauty, all of this. To me, all that stuff falls into the umbrella of value. So value could mean money. It could be, what are your values? It could be, what do you value? It could be, do you feel valued? All that kind of stuff. And so when it's retrograde, you have all this internal like enoughness stuff going on. And when it's direct, it's more what is out here enough. Okay. So that combined with Mercury being retrograde was heavy, man. That was super heavy. And in our household, since I have a Taurus who is ruled by Venus and I'm a Virgo ruled by Mercury, and you had both of them retrograde at the same time, we were over here like, do we have the flu? What's going on? Because words are hard and feeling connected is hard. Jupiter going retrograde yesterday, the connectedness is kind of fuzzy. Mercury creates even more fuzziness. So really quick, just to let you kind of get the lay of the land, we got Jupiter retrograde yesterday until the end of the year. Saturn is still retrograde till November 4th. Mercury is retrograde till the 15th of September. Neptune is retrograde till the 6th of December. Chiron, wounded, all of you, all of my fellow Gen Xers, this is us, Chiron and Aries retrograde, which is poke, poke, poke in our biggest wound, which is always a delight. But again, we can learn from this. I'll talk about that in a second. And Uranus, which is retrograde till January 27th of next year. So, really quick rundown. So, Saturn is the great teacher. It's structures. It's like the school system, the government, like and right down to like the house that you live in. How you believe. And personally, the spiritual end of this one is when I tap in and I say, well, what is this one about for the collective? And it's more about the structure of your belief system. Is it still working for you? Not so much the structure of our government, not so much the structure of your home, the structure, literal buildings you may work in or like go in and out of. It's much more about the house you live in up here. And are those beliefs that have been ingrained in us for a very long time still working? Because if you're watching this, I'm gonna make the assumption that you are on the expansion path that all of us are with the DNA upgrades and all that other stuff that all of us boosts that talk about all the time. And when we do go through those things, the structures of our beliefs of what we believe, this is what we should do, and this is what we should not do, and why are you not doing this, and enoughness, and all this crap, those come into question. Because if we continue to try and move forward and expand as spiritual beings while also holding on to these old school programmings, that's where there's the disconnect. And the Saturn retrograde invites us to investigate those inner belief systems that we have from our childhood, maybe from your teens, your 20s, wherever wherever you are, all the way back. What are you still kind of saying? Well, this is the way to do it. Why is it not working? And you're banging your head against the wall about that. It's time to say it's not working, and it's not working for me. So maybe I need to try something different. That's Saturn retrograde is what I'm getting. The Mercury retrograde of this time is, it's in Virgo, which so those my sister Virgos, I feel you, girlfriends. Oh my. Um, and all those people, like I have one friend who was born under a Mercury retrograde, and he's like, "This is my time." So y'all go, be happy if that's you. But this one is very like to me, because us we Virgos are very like get things organized, neat and tidy. Like we're planning a lot of stuff right now, personally, professionally, and it's really challenging. Like I get a headache at the end of the day. Like that's not like normally I'm a Virgo to a T in the sense that it's like I am planning everything. I got Trello boards up the yin yang. I got books. I got everything printed. I'm like everything's clipped together and all. But it like because Mercury is retrograde right now, getting that planning underway, it because that makes us feel good to have the organization and everything kind of neat and tidy. So when you go to look for it or when you go to use something, it's where it belongs and you don't got to really think about it. You can just keep going with the flow. When Mercury is retrograde, keeping up that is a challenge. And also Virgo is about, our digestive system and all that kind of stuff. So when it's retrograde, make sure you maintain like my belly's been upset. So if your belly's been upset, but you're not like quite nauseous, but you're just kind of like, ugh, just kind of really be gentle with your system until like the 15th of September. I'm not saying go and eat like fried food on the 16th, but what I am saying is, but right now, just kind of the feelings that I'm getting are be gentle with the body, do some yoga. Don't go out and do like, Orange Theory. Not nothing against Orange Theory. That's not what I'm saying. They're just one of those companies that's, their workouts are really intense. So like what I'm trying to say is, if that's your norm and that's your go-to, that's great. But if it's not and you're looking at starting something, don't do intense workouts right now until after the 15th. Be gentle with the system. Go for a walk in nature. Nothing more than 20 minutes. Yoga, meditation, inner communication with self, because connecting with the self will help you be more centered and grounded, and you'll feel more organized within. So if you're an Orange Theory person, that's great, but you might find it a little harder to get going. So, and again, Nothing against them. They're just the first thing that came to mind as far as like an intense workout kind of thing. Um, Also, words are going to be really hard between now and the 15th, if they haven't already. And I've seen a lot of technology. I was at the pet shop place over here getting Buddy some food and literally put my card in, came out, the purchase went through. He handed me my receipt and he goes, "Oh my God, my computer just went black after we had processed the whole thing." And I was like, "Uh-oh." And in my head, I'm thinking Mercury retrograde because our computers, both of us, our computers have been acting weird. The phones have been acting weird. Um, just some random crap going on. So if your technology is a little bit wonky or a lot wonky, this is why. So just again, be mindful of these things. And Mercury retrograde is invitation to slow down, especially in our communication. Neptune is dreams, and by dreams I don't mean like sleeping dreams. I mean like what are your dreams? And the retrograde is reevaluation of those dreams. So what you planned on your vision board in January, they may not be exactly like if you pull that out and look at it, you might be like, maybe not so much. Maybe I need to redo this. So this is a nice time, and that one's until the end, until December 6th. So kind of just reevaluating the dreams. Um, Chiron in Aries is all of us kind of have that wound of not enoughness, and around who we are. If you are born like most of us Gen Xers, our Chiron is in Aries, so we're getting poked a lot. So just be gentle with self so that you remind yourself when you start, especially with the Jupiter retrograde that is happening now and that started yesterday till the end of the year. Literally, it ends on the 31st of December. Understand that those two things going on together can cause like some self-doubt and some like self-shooting, self-sabotage. So just be real mindful, okay? And utilize when that stuff comes up, utilize that to get your since we have so much retrograde in our energy right now, get your journal out. Get your journal out and start saying, why am I feeling this way? Where is this coming from? Not so much like, um, a specific thing that happened that day, but like really kind of dig in and say, where is this coming from? And work to process that through. Um, Lastly, Uranus is retrograde until January of next year, end of January around 27th. Uranus is like, I heard somebody refer to it as the guy who looks innocent, like a little old man who looks innocent at a party and then tells like the raunchiest joke. So it's the person, like, it's like this surprise curveball. And when it goes retrograde, it kind of throws that into the mix. Okay, so those are all the retrogrades, and again, like I said, Jupiter until the end of the year. So that's a lot. That's one, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, now we're six because Venus just went direct. Six. That's a lot. That's why the last and with all that kind of happening, that's why the last since July has felt now, here's the thing. Retrogrades are not bad. I want to be really clear. They're not bad. They invite us to slow down and they invite us to look internally versus externally to analyze what's here and the various pie wedges of your life, so to speak. So I just kind of ran through those really quick. The Jupiter one I want to talk about most because it might be intense, but I will say this. If you're really feeling it, kind of look at your chart and be like, oh, is one of my ruling planets retrograde? And what does that mean for me? And what house is it in? Because that's going to give you some insight. It doesn't necessarily change how you feel. But sometimes I think when you understand what's going on, you can then work from a place of knowledge and wisdom to feel better about things. Um, so Jupiter, and I just wrote all this stuff down. That's why I'm looking down. So Jupiter it's like really, what do I want? What will fulfill my purpose? And remember, your soul purpose is the same as everybody else's because we all are extensions of source energy. And what that means is your soul purpose is abundance, love, and joy, right? Your life purpose is how that manifests for you individually into the 3D world. So when we think about purpose, it's what is my purpose? And then how am I manifesting that into the world? So what do I want? This Jupiter retrograde, because we're going internal. What do I want for me? Not for my family, not for my kids, not for my dog, not for like other people, all this stuff. Because remember, when we do what we want for us and we make ourselves happy, that energy goes back to the collective and creates a positive shift. So, this is why I want you to understand it's not selfish to think that way. So, what do I want? What will fulfill those purposes that, my joy, love, and abundance? And what does that look like for me to bring into the world? Um, what do I want to take that leap for? Like, what is so important to me that I want to leap for? Leap of faith, right? Because Jupiter is faith. And when it's retrograde, it's I got to believe in myself. It's the faith in self. So, the other part of this is Jupiter is always the planet of abundance and expansion and all this fun stuff. And for the first half of the year, it was direct, which is why there was a lot of like, stuff flowing in and a lot of maybe if you own your own business, you saw an uptick. Maybe you got a promotion at work. Maybe you bought and sold your house in a really good way, or whatever stuff like that. And now because it's retrograde, that's all going to slow down. Now here's the thing: for like the end of last year, because there was so much craziness at the end of last year, everybody was like, "Thank you that the planets are going retrograde. I can't wait for everything to move forward and to feel good." And this is what I kept seeing when I would talk to everybody recently. So, and then recently, everybody was like, "Oh my God, I wish everything would slow down." And then a week later, it was like, "Why is nothing moving?" So we got to remember that there is an ebb and flow. There's a time to chop wood and carry water, and there's time to rest. And there's a time to just go with the flow. So retrogrades for me are a time to review and rest and allow, as opposed to push, push, push and work and carry wood and chop water, or chop wood and carry water. Um, and so what that really means is this Jupiter thing to me is the slowdown we've all been looking for, but we need to welcome it in as such, not be upset. Because, like, in the beginning of the year, it's like, oh, yay, the train is pulling out of the station and you're kind of feeling it move forward. You are on it and it feels good. But then throughout the year, all the way until, say, July, August, it just kept going faster and faster and faster. And it felt like somebody had, like, cut the brake line or whatever. And now, it just kind of came to a slow stop and it's kind of stopped, not quite at the station yet. So that's kind of how this feels. And it's giving you some time to review how your journey for the last year has gone, as far as what like when we talk about from the perspective of expansion, abundance, you know, the good fortune kind of stuff. So what happened? Because you have to have that break in there. It might feel like you're slowing down, and oh my God, what's going to happen? You might end up feeling like, oh my gosh, everything's drying up, and it's like, no, 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 no. You got to believe in yourself that everything's going to be okay. But right now, I have to review what's going on and what happened. I was watching Sheila Gillette, who does the Seth channeling, and I love her. And she said every day, and I think this is great, and I've started to incorporate it in my own things in the morning. So she said every day, in the morning, she gets up, and one of the things she meditates on is three things. And number one is, what am I grateful for? Number two is, where can I give myself credit? And number three is, and I call this the ask and receive participation prize. So, where can I work more openly and surrender to source and spirit and my spirit team and my angels and all the people that are helping me, all my floaties, um, when I ask for something and I'm being open to receive it. So, what I'm going to encourage you to do for this Jupiter retrograde is to maybe participate in doing that. Like every single day, do your two questions and your affirmation about participating in the ask and receive process with your spirit team, because I think that will remind you that's the whole thing. It's inviting you to stand in your own worth, stand in your own self power. Because yeah, if we were showered with gold all the time, there's this movie we watched it the other night. It's from the '80s, um, called Brewster's Millions, and it was like the perfect Jupiter retrograde film. And it's got Richard Pryor, who was like amazing comedian. It's got John Candy, another amazing comedian, and some other faces you might recognize that were early in their film careers. But it was basically about a man who, was kind of down on his luck, and he played for a minor league baseball team and he had nothing. And right in the beginning, he, really kind of hits rock bottom. And then come to find out, he had some grandpa that nobody spoke to anymore who was filthy rich, who made him the sole heir to his entire fortune. But there was a catch. And it was basically, he said, I don't want you to go out and blow all this money willy nilly and acting like a fool. I want you to value. I want you to have value. Venus. Um, but Jupiter, here's a windfall, but retrograde, here's a catch. So what the catch was, he had to spend $30 million in 30 days and not tell anybody why he was doing it or what he was doing. He just had to do it. And he had to have receipts for everything. And if he could spend all the money, he would get 300 million, which was the entire estate. So it was about his, you know, unorthodox way of doing things and other people trying to thwart him and stuff like that. But in the end, he had his helpers who did come through for him, and he did end up with at the very the 11th hour, or like 11:59, everything righted itself. So it's because, and it was like Jupiter's also do the good deed and pay it forward. If you receive a good deed, pay it forward, kind of thing. And that's kind of the person that he was, and that's what he was doing through the whole thing. And so, if you want to watch a movie that kind of embodies the Jupiter retrograde, Brewster's Millions, I believe it's on Tubi if you have Tubi streaming. Um, Anyways, great film, and it embodies the entire thing. So let's kind of wrap that part up and say, basically, here's the deal: you need to believe in you, like, because when Jupiter goes retrograde, it kind of it's a question of faith, right? Versus question of faith and self. So know that everything is still okay. Do your reviewing, and kind of look internally for where you want to go instead of looking externally and what you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, what do we need to know for this Jupiter retrograde? What's going to help us? Oop, and I am butterfingers like crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'll pull 3 cards and I will share them with you. This is for the collective. And again, as I said, if you want something that's more personal for you, then go ahead and schedule a session. The link is in the description. But for now, we'll pull 3 cards. What do we need to know, especially for this Jupiter thing? Because I think that's going to shake us up a little bit. Because if we resist the slowdown, if we resist all that, it's not going to feel so good. So again, another piece of advice: don't resist it. Be like, okay, all is well. I'm gonna get through it. If if I can't get in through the door, I'll crawl in through a window, kind of a thing. So, you know. Alrighty. So one more shuffle. Okay. Oh, y'all can't make this shit up. That is so funny. Okay. Yep. Yep. All of it. This is all Jupiter retrograde to a T. So we first thing is right side up, squirrel spirit, believe in yourself. Talk about, like I said, you can't make this shit up. The whole thing is invitation to faith in self, believe in self. So yes, that is the big thing. Remember, for this Jupiter retrograde, number 1, believe in yourself. Know you got this. Don't let everybody else shitting on you create any sort of doubt or self-sabotage. Okay. So believe in self. Number 2, the supporter card of that, because again, I don't do past, present, future. It's like answer to our question, which was, what do we need to know to get through this Jupiter retrograde with like and thrive? So believe in yourself is the answer. How are we going to do that? Like, what's going to support us in that? And we have hawk spirit. Let spirit be your guide. So again, Jupiter is also about our connection to source energy. And sometimes it might be a little harder to find during Jupiter retrograde. So make sure, if you're being really vigilant about your meditation, you're being really vigilant about whatever practice it is that you have that connects you to your inner voice, to source energy, to your spirit team, all that kind of stuff, because spirit is still your guide. It's still there. It just might have a fuzzy connection right now. So be okay with that. So stay aligned with your practices and your spiritual practices. So whatever that looks like for you, and knowing that you're not in it. Yes, you have to have faith in yourself. This is kind of a time for you to have that believe in yourself kind of thing going on, but know that spirit is still there guiding you. And lastly, and this is so funny, so elephant spirit comes in upside down. Now, in my readings, upside down isn't, oh my god, we're in trouble. It's more either I didn't know that, which I don't think this is for any of us. It's also about, I forgot that I knew that, and I know, and I don't wanna. I think this is more I forgot that I knew that because it's learned from the past, which is interesting because retrogrades are harkening back. It's calling back to stuff that's happened. It's going over ground you've already covered, and bringing back some stuff, and it might be immediate stuff, recent history, or it might be, stuff from way back that's coming back to support you. So remember these things in the past, it's like it might be someone coming back to pay you back or pay it forward and you witness it for some kindness that you did for them. So just know that there are these two helpers, which is spirit being your guide and leaning into stuff that's happened in the past that is on the idea of, okay, so I have made and received some really great things. I'm just gonna remember that as a proof, so when stuff kinda doesn't go so good right now, that I know things will get better and everything is there. Or it could even be, a callback to the past, something in the past. So I just think it's really interesting. I love when I pull cards and they're, like, so on point. This is such an on point for Jupiter retrograde, um, which I think will be helpful. So just believe in self. That's the biggest invitation that I am seeing. I got that this morning in my meditation I got it again when I was taking notes from spirit. I got it again in the reading, which is, this whole Jupiter retrograde, and I'm focusing in on this one because it just started yesterday. Um, but I feel like it's going to be something because it is bringing the slowdown that we all have asked for. So just remember, we all asked for it. We asked for the slowdown, and this is going to be a slowdown till literally the end of the year. So don't think it's not going to be so like everybody's like, bottom falling out kind of thing, but more giving you the space to breathe, which I don't think we've had for a really long time. So make sure, and here's the other thing: the reason you might feel resistance, is what I'm being told to tell you, is our programming of late is everything's forward motion all the time, 100 warp speed. Okay, and when we don't do that, we feel like we're lacking in some way, or we're worried, or shit's gonna happen, blah blah blah. That's because that's the programming at the speed of light that which we all are like being told we need to move at right now, when our human beingness was never meant to do that. We were never ever meant to move that quickly. Our brains don't move that fast for a reason. We shouldn't be comparing ourselves to the speed at which AI works, or the speed at which the supercomputer works, or any of that, because that is not what's going on. Hey Rumi, how you doing, sister? Yes, society is like a hot mess right now. So this Jupiter thing, you might be witnessing people being like, whoa, okay, because it's not just Jupiter. We got like six, five other planets going on. Okay. But the Jupiter invitation to slow down, if you say yes to it, you'll feel better. You start being in resistance to it, you're gonna be in that society business that y'all that you're talking about, Remy, right there, where it's like, oh my gosh, don't watch the news. Like I watched this thing on YouTube yesterday, from Mayim Bialik. I'm like kind of like, sometimes some days I love her and some days I'm like, that's a little intense for me. But on the most part, I do like her brain stuff. So she was talking about how she took I think it was like a 2 week total media fast. Like she even bought herself like one of them jitterbug phones for old people that just has like your phone number on it or whatever, and so that she could have like connectivity into her family. But it was like no news, no television, only movies, or no newspapers, like nothing. And she said it like kind of reminded her of the fact that we weren't made to work at this speed, to be connected even to people we love at that speed, because it doesn't give us time to process anything. So that's what I think this Jupiter retrograde is inviting us to, is to slow down. All retrogrades invite us to slow down, but to slow down this one and learn to believe in ourselves, that we got this. We don't need this outside noise to direct how we're going to move. We need to know what we want for us so that we can move that way. So things may slow down a lot between now and December, but be okay with that. Kind of say to yourself, it's time for me to do a spiritual hygge. Do you guys remember that trend from last year? I am keeping up with that trend, that Hyggge. I think it's Danish or Norwegian. It's like basically this like living in a cozy way kind of thing. It's that slow down, but it's natural. Look, I mean, we're coming up on the fall equinox, which is my birthday. So if the 22nd, remind yourselves that it's my birthday, but it's also Maybon. It is the autumnal equinox. It is the time where we start really slowing down and kind of going inward. Oh, good morning, Kim. Um, and just remember that's what makes all this stuff. Yes, Rumi, look up Huga. It's pronounced Huga. I know it's spelled kind of weird, but it comes from up in the Netherlands. It's a frame of mind of how they live, and it's like being in a cozy, like real nice texture on your skin, kind of blanky. Maybe burning candles and like the snow might be falling outside, and you have a fire burning, like cozy, living a cozy, easygoing lifestyle, fuzzy socks, like stuff like that. It's kind of it's challenging to hygge in the summertime, and my Pisces moon loves me some hyggeing, so I am so looking forward to fall, y'all. But that to me is what needs to kind of happen with this Jupiter thing. But it is reminding you that you need to believe in yourself. Spirit has your back, and also use your past. Don't just look at your past for all the crap that's happened. Look at your past for all the wins and be grateful for the wins. Can you take credit for the wins? Where can you thank spirit for the wins? That kind of stuff. And when you see somebody that maybe needs some support, be that person for them and know that they will pay it forward. It's not going to be a an immediate exchange between the two of you. Maybe it's pay it forward, but keep going with that. Don't lose your hope. Okay. Stay where you need to be within self to move forward and don't listen to the shoulds. That's what my message is for this week, as far as like this Jupiter retrograde thing. The cards are kind of backing me up on that one. And um, so let's see. I just want to make sure I got to everything. Yes. So I'll just read this really quick. This is what I jotted down from Spirit. It's the invitation to believe in self and trust the still small voice within that brings us into alignment. So like take that leap into alignment if that's coming up for you, regardless of all of the shoulding from others. So that's there. Okay. So I hope this was helpful for you all. I love you guys so much. Leave a comment. Again, if you would like a more personalized reading, I think I have 3 or 4 appointments this month, but there is a code to get $25 off, and it is Virgo23 when you book. Um, and that's it. So I love y'all so much, and I will see you probably later today. If you are one of the people that receive one of these, you can join the class today. Otherwise, it'll be in replay right here on the channel, but in the playlist for the meditations. Um, and that's at 2 p.m. And you can register for that. I think if you got my email, you should be able to register for that. If you've already received your deck, you probably are registered, but that is free, and that's this afternoon. But if you don't make it, don't worry. You can see it on YouTube tomorrow, or yeah, tomorrow. So that's it for this week. I love you so much. Watch if you're watching the replay and you have a comment or a share, please hashtag replay so I can come back and say hello. And that's it for today. I love y'all so much. I will see you later, and just believe in yourself, lovies. I love you. Bye.